maybe the fourth time is the charm? Oh man, talk about the technical difficulties this morning. Let's see here. Is it finally gonna go? Because that'd be super cool. Super cool. Yeah! Victory! Okay, I'm excited. Looks like we finally got there in the end. Excellent. Oh, on that note, I think I need a little bit of coffee. That was more stressful than it needed to be. So my apologies for the late start today, you guys. That was not at all my intention, and unfortunately we ended up there. It was a late night last night, and unfortunately I was tired this morning. So, I'm here now. I have been trying to get online since 9:30, but with something going on with my YouTube, so I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. But we're here now, so that's a good sign, right? So I'm just finishing up Matthew's map today. We're not doing a solid gray waterscape for this map. Just a little bit of Copic highlighting to kind of add a bit of depth in places. And then we'll add the border. And then this one will be good to go. So it's just going to be a nice, easygoing, slow morning. My week has been a little bit strange because Dave has been home this week, so it's just like, oh, right, there's actually things going on. Morning, Myrna! I don't know what was going on with my YouTube, but we've sorted it out, and we're here now. So go us. But yeah, my week has been a little bit strange because Dave has been home, which is okay. I like having him around. But it does mean tracking time is just a little bit different because it's like, I'm going to go up to the studio and work for a while. And he's like, okay, cool. And then I'll be like, do you want to do something? And I'll be like, I'd love to, but I have to work right now. Like, what do you want? So that's been kind of fun. It's not very often that he's home and I'm not off with him, so yes, me too. Problem solving, hooray. I'm a fan. So yeah, just adding a little bit of detail. I'm using a neutral 0 Copic marker right now. So I expect that that doesn't read altogether that well on screen. Maybe you can see it a little bit, maybe you can't. Let me see if I can up the quality of my light here. Well, a little bit, that kind of helps. It's much more noticeable in person. I really like working with the lower number saturations for Copics first, just to kind of shade it in without overwhelming things. And then, because you can always go back around and back through and darken them up with additional passes of the Copic. So my plan for this is just to kind of give the water a little bit more body, to make it more obvious where we have rivers and lakes. And then to just kind of tackle the coastline a little bit to give that some dimension as well. Oh, okay. Well, that's really cool. Thank you for the feedback, Myrna. That's helpful for me to know. We decided to not go with a heavy gray water on this because I thought that it might make the map too busy. Like, there's a lot going on with the landforms already. So I didn't want to crowd that. The original map that we got had a lot of detail in the water. And one of the things that the Commissioner Matthew was requesting was just to make the map look a little more simple. And editing that is one of the fastest ways to kind of reduce the visual noise of a piece, because you're just putting less detail down on the page. So I was getting ready to kind of gray everything in, and then was thinking twice about it and thought to myself, you know, like, let's not. Let's do the coastlines first and see if that actually gives us the effect that we're looking for. So we'll do that first and see where we're at and go from there. I'm thinking of doing just a solid black border for this. I didn't plan the image to have a very elaborate border. That wasn't something that Matthew and I discussed. So I don't want to break in there now and try to do one, especially considering that I didn't leave myself a ton of room on the edges to do something elaborate. And usually if I'm going to do that, I want to have just a bit more room so that I can have more space to play in with that kind of thing. Originally we were going to do a color map for this map, and I think in hindsight doing it in black and white was really smart. Matthew changed his mind partway through, and just given the amount of detail in the actual ink work on the land, and then the sheer amount of labeling that we needed to make sure that everything was properly marked out, I think it's easier to read in this context. I think if I was going to color it, it wouldn't have been the watercolor that we were originally talking about. I think I would do it in Copic, or even pencil crayon. Pencil crayon is sometimes a bit tricky just because it doesn't scan well. You end up with shiny patches that are needing a lot of post-processing work to actually make them look like not plastic. So Copic probably would have been the better move. But yeah, I think it was a good decision to just go black and white with this one. I was really tempted to do like a metallic highway. I'm still might, I don't know. I'm gonna do it up on a copy first and just see if I really like it or not. I like the idea of this in color. I think that I might take a copy and take some pencil crayons to it just for myself to see if it turned out the way that I was expecting it to. But I think overall the black and white is going to look really good. So I know I've been gone for a few weeks, and I apologize for that. I was helping a friend move last week, and then the weather got terrible, and I wasn't able to drive home right away. We live about 200 kilometers apart, so while I'm used to making that trip on a very regular basis, it's a single lane, undivided highway, so when people are not driving responsibly in bad weather, that becomes a lot more dangerous. We also have a ton of deer on that road, and when I had been driving into the city, I had seen so much roadkill. So it was just really important that if the roads were going to be that bad, to take an extra day. It did mean like missing out on my live stream and stuff, but I'm in one piece, so I'm okay with that. So one of the challenges for this map is this area that I'm doing the water for right here. They're not bays. These are actually giant waterfalls. and this bridge is the only way across them. And so I'm trying to figure out how to best represent that. It's a challenge because I'm not totally sure where the water goes under there. I know that the rest of the oceans have way too many currents to make navigating feasible. That was something that Matthew mentioned to me. But it sounds like this is a waterfall going in and this is a waterfall going in. And so this basically is like a deep abyss of a pit. And I've never had to try and illustrate one of those before, so trying to think my way around that. One of the things that I want to avoid is just a giant black splash there, because that's going to be super heavy and it's going to draw and hold the eye in the map, instead of letting the eye roam around and kind of take in all the rest of the detail that's there. So I want to make sure that I'm not doing that. With the icons that have been on the map, I've tried really hard to like make certain ones darker to show like population centers that are more important. So I don't want to override that with a dense landform, because that will just prevent the eye from moving around. Which is not what we want. There's a new Discord for people who are into fantasy mapping. It was put together by, oh boy, I'm blanking on the name now. North Star Cartography? I'm going to have to look it up. I'll find a link and put it in the chat, or not chat, the video description. It's a really incredible resource. They've gathered a lot of the people that I follow on Instagram, which is really amazing. And there's just sections for talking about map making and RPGs, things like naming conventions. It's really cool to see a space that's just dedicated to generating names. And they're starting now to put together a Google Drive of shared resources that people have access to for cartography and for role-playing and stuff like that. So creating kind of a community library that way. And I think that's really cool. I'm always for the sharing of information, especially stuff that's gone out of print, or that's really difficult to track down, just because, you know, it's nice that everybody gets to have these things. So I'm probably not commenting there as much as I could, but I have a really hard time like getting to know other people in chat rooms, particularly if there's already a feeling that people know each other and I'm kind of imposing. I'm a little bit strange that way. But yeah, I'm excited that it's there. I think it's a really amazing resource, and I like what they're trying to do for the community. I think that's pretty awesome. So I will definitely put a link to that in the description in case other people want to check it out. Yeah, I think that's probably more for a Maelstrom, Myrna. I'm thinking like I'll probably just darken it more here. I started trying to play with it on a copy the other day, and it looked okay on the copy. I just, you know how I get about doing anything permanent to the final map until I absolutely know what it is I want to do. That is the one downside of doing entirely analog art, is that you make a mistake at the end of the process and you just completely either got to be able to salvage it in a way that's convincing and looks intentional, or you have messed up everything that you just invested how many hours into. I am like really curious about getting into digital just because the ease of revision looks quite impressive. Devin Rue, who's a cartographer that I really admire, has just recently gone to digital. Actually, so is Dyson Logos, who's another one I really admire. And it doesn't look like the transition to digital has actually negatively impacted their style. I remember Dyson making a comment being like, I was really worried that this was going to happen on one of his Instagram posts. And I don't think it has. It doesn't seem to me to be perceptible at all, which is encouraging for me because I kind of had the same fears. Like it was one of my holdouts as well. So I don't have to worry about that anytime soon because it's going to take me quite a while to save up for the digital platform that I want, but it's kind of a consideration. I think, especially like I'm dealing with problems with my hands. I think almost everybody knows that. So trying to find ways to preserve my ability to do art into the future, all of that probably helps and counts, right? So it is a consideration for me. And even if that's just reducing the amount of time you spend revising, that's a big deal. All right. I sometimes wish that Copics came in a smaller nib. I mean, I guess they do. I could start investing in certain ones in the Chow to get that bullet nib. I think it's the Chow that has the bullet nib. I just have been resistant to buying into another format, which I guess is terrible, but like when you have 150 of something, you kind of don't want to be like, oh, these are inadequate when they cost you so much money. I just think having something between this and one of the multi-liners would be handy for stuff like this. Hey Brian, how's it going? Sorry, just looked up. I am good. I was late getting going this morning and then there was all kinds of technical difficulties, but hey, we're here now. I have the coffee. I have markers. It's actually sunny. We keep getting more and more snow, but you know, it's sunny. We'll take that. It's also not as achingly cold today as it's been the last little while. We've been stuck below -30 for quite a bit. And yesterday it got up to like -9. I made a joke to Dave that we should go find a patio and have beers. It was very nice after weeks of not wanting to be outside at all. I haven't checked the temperature yet today because I was enjoying coffee this morning and then Myrna was like, "Hey, are you live streaming?" And I was like, "Oh my god, it's 9:30. Yes, yes I am." Exhausted from work, but you have coffee. I mean, I guess that's the natural order of things, hey? Yeah, my hands are feeling better today. They've been terrible the last 2 days, but steady dose of anti-inflammatories and just not doing anything makes a difference. Thank you for asking. That's very sweet of you. How's work going? Things okay? Because you had a giant open house coming up, didn't you, Brian? True, that was like a week ago, I think, when you and I were talking last, just because I've been away. Yeah, I really like that with that second gray layered in there. Yeah, that's helpful. Cool. Carrying on. I never quite know where to start on the larger sections. I guess we will work left to right. Hi, Gary. Yeah, the resolution is looking better. I was talking to Dave about this, and he thought that part of the problem might have actually been how cold it was here, interfering with the infrastructure. So I trust him to know more about these things than I do. But given that the weather's warmed up, I think there may perhaps be something to that. I mean, it was just so achingly cold here. Oh, that's no fair that it's fun that everyone's overworked. I'm sorry. I hope that eases soon. I think that's something that I take for granted now that I'm working at home. My stress is definitely not in the colleagues department, right? Like, I have Saxon, which can be stressful due to his barking and stuff, but that's nowhere near dealing with overwork and colleagues and stuff like that. You totally have my sympathy in that regard. Yeah, fair enough, right? I believe that you hope so too. I'm sorry, that probably sounded really patronizing, and that was not at all my intention. I genuinely do hope these things when I say them out loud. Okay, good. I have been told that there are times that I come across as patronizing when all I'm trying to do is like legit express what's going through my head, so I definitely want to be aware if that's happening. It's not my intention. Very funny, Gary. He does work like a dog, which is to say, hardly at all lately. Although he has started to get it through his head that he is not allowed to play with us while we're having coffee in the morning. And I cannot tell you what a relief that is. It does also help that it's warm enough now that he can go outside and play for a bit without freezing everything. I was getting pretty worried about his feet. I took him out for a walk the other day and he started really hopping up and not wanting to touch the ground. And I was like, okay, yeah, time to get you back inside. So what's everybody working on today? If you are working on things. Coffee counts if you are working on a coffee. Hey Myrna, how did Art Jam go last night? Did you get people? For the deck. What are you doing with the deck? You taking it down? Shoveling it? Please tell me if you're taking it down, you're getting help. I don't like the idea of that like collapsing on your brain. Tell me it's not minus 30 there. A deck is like a patio, Brian. It's a platform that you have outside of your house that you put furniture on and stuff. Yeah, like a porch, but typically larger. They can be like the size of a room, and then you can hang out outside. It's not too bad. Okay, well, just make sure you bundle up and don't let any of your parts freeze off, okay? I happen to like you all in one piece. Yeah, you live on a ship. You're a pirate on the North Saskatchewan. I really want to live on a ship. I think one of the coolest things for me about being in Amsterdam were all of the houseboats that were in the canals. I feel like that is a lifestyle that I could totally get behind. I love that city. Oh my god, I cannot wait to go back. I'm hoping to take Dave there if we can afford it for his 40th birthday, so in 2 years. Well, I guess more like a year and a half. Oh my god. Saving the money. The deck is sinking? Oof, that's no good. Did they not put the proper footings under that thing? That's true. You do live in a swamp. Historically, that is accurate. I feel like everybody in Regina's lives would be a lot easier if that whole swindle hadn't happened. Because that's true, actually. When they were first settling the city, somebody who in a position of power bribed other people in a position of power to move the city somewhere to where they owned land or something like that, and sold off this giant parcel of land to them instead of the city being founded near, I think it was Lumsden was where the original site was supposed to be. So this person made out like a bandit, got all kinds of money, but the entire city is founded on a swamp, so all of your basements are completely skewed, all of everything. Like, it's a beautiful city, don't get me wrong, but architecturally, they struggle with some stuff just because there's so much groundwater that's just so close to the surface of everything. So yeah, that is a nuisance. At least you know it's not just you, hey Gary. Like, it's the entire city. It's kind of everybody deals with this thing. Yeah, I think Dave would love Amsterdam. I really do. And also, like, the last time, I think it was the last time he was in Europe, he was with Aaron. So, like, he wanted to go and see a whole bunch of, like, the war sites and stuff like that, and she just had no interest, and I guess she made the trip pretty miserable. And I can't say that, like, I'm super stoked about the idea of doing just war memorial stuff, because, you know, as though that's interesting, it's going to be emotionally really hard on me to do that the entire time. But Dave, I know, would go to, like, galleries and stuff with me too. So I think we could do it together and have a really good time. Plus, like, just if I'm over there, I'm close to people that I love. So, like, I could probably pop over to Scotland and see Bianca and Kaylin. I could probably either get Renault to meet me somewhere or head over to Montpellier and say hi. It seems like a real shame to actually, like, take the time and energy to get all the way over there and then not see my people. So that's partly why I want to make sure I have enough money saved up, because if we need to do like jumper flights or anything while we're over there, I want to make sure we can. Although if everybody wants to just come to Amsterdam for a party, that's a good idea too. Actually, I didn't do any recreational pharmaceuticals while I was in Amsterdam. Um, we were only there for 2 days when I was there. Um, It was amazing though. Like, I'm a massive, massive fan of the paintings of Vincent van Gogh. He's probably my favorite painter ever. And there's the Van Gogh Museum there, so like I spent half a day in there. We wandered around and looked at all the pictures, and or sorry, not the pictures, but like the plazas, the palace. We did the main drag a bunch. Um, Took the water taxi, obligatory water taxi tour. Just tried to see everything that we could see while we were there, and it was lovely. The Anne Frank Museum was one of those like necessary and heartrending experiences. I recommend it to everybody who's going. I just always say to them, like, make sure you're going to do something like go out for a beautiful meal afterwards, or a nice cup of coffee or something to remind yourself that there's still good in the world, because that can be heavy. I think it's so necessary though. I think that's one of the things that being married to a soldier has done for me too, is it's really kind of brought home the lest we forget sentiment in a new way, because it means something very, very different when you're in a military family. Like, it definitely has changed for me. I know my parents came and spent Remembrance Day with us this year for the first time. And it's a big thing on base. There's things that you need to go to, and all the uniforms and everything. And I asked my dad afterwards, like, is it different for you doing this now that you have a son in law who's in the military? And dad said, you know what, it really is. He said, I didn't expect it to be. But I find it just, it's much more powerful this year. And my stepmother said the same thing. So it was really cool to hear their perspective on it. I know that that was a thing for me, for sure. So I think that's partly like why it would be interesting to go with Dave to these World War sites and to the museums and stuff like that. But I also know like I get verklempt as hell during those kinds of celebrations. Celebration's a weird word. Memorial? So the idea of like just putting myself through that emotional ringer over and over and over on something that's supposed to be a holiday, maybe not the most fun that could be had. Brian, where should I go in the Netherlands that's not Amsterdam? Because, like, if we're there, we don't have to go to just one city. Maybe I should pop over and see Dexter. Because he's in Den Haag, I think. What do I like? Well, I like food. I love to eat good food. I like. Gary likes cats. I love plants. I love art. I love really interesting, like, I don't know, installations. There's a flower festival there, isn't there? Where they do, like, just all the floats are made of flowers. I think I read that on the internet somewhere. Utrecht, or am I saying this right? Maastricht? Maastricht? Okay, well, that's a word I don't know how to say. Het Bloemen Corso? Oh, okay. I don't have a gift for languages. It's a thing I wish I did. To be fair, though, I just need to spend more time working on them. It's something that I work on in fits and starts, and then it goes down and gets put aside again for other things. I'm never gonna get my French fluency if I don't keep up on it, right? That sounds a bit like an indictment of your language. I kind of love how humans came up with so many different sounds for communication. It's really cool. The way they speak in Amsterdam, that's fair. No, I know communication doesn't stop at sounds, for sure. I get obsessive about like colors that I use and stuff for that exact reason. An amusement park that is gorgeous. Really? Those are not things that I would instinctively put together. So when you say amusement park, do you mean a place that's like a carnival that has rides and games and stuff, or is it a different phrase for you? Like Disneyland, but pretty. I want to go to Disneyland just to see what it's like, but I've know people who have gone and they say that it's just one of the most sensory, overwhelming experiences they've ever had. My aunt said that you couldn't even find quiet, like if you went to the bathroom, because they had like music in the bathrooms all the time too. And that sounds like, a very immersive experience, but that also sounds a little overwhelming for me. I think I'd have to bring like noise canceling headphones or something. Sometimes you just need quiet. Although I might be so like up on the Magic Kingdom that it doesn't bother me, who knows. I love going to beautiful places. There's a garden outside of Victoria, British Columbia called the Bouchard Gardens that is just gorgeous. It's acres and acres and acres of incredible gardens done in different themes with different kinds of plants. And of course, that area is quite temperate, so they can grow a variety of things outdoors there that wouldn't be possible even 200 kilometers further west, maybe. So that's a place that I love to go. Oh, I know Anton Peak. Pick? I know the name to recognize it. I don't know how to say it. I love it when you get unified. Peak. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I love it when you get unified aesthetics for places. It is one of my favorite things. I think I wish I was somebody who actually like was capable of curating in that way in my own life. Because it would be really nice to live in a beautiful place, but really my aesthetic is Bohemian Magpie, where it's like, oh, this is shiny and colorful and I love it, so let's just cram it in here somewhere amongst everything else. Although I've tried to get better about not just owning stuff to own stuff. So that sort of helps. All right, I think that's that part. Maybe we should add a little bit darker here. A little bit there. Yeah, I've been trying to track the low sensory time stuff, Gary, because I think the fact that we're having this movement towards creating low sensory spaces to allow people who have differing sensory needs, like autism and stuff, more access to the public space is super important. It's nice that we're finally, as a society, kind of getting beyond recognizing disability as just physical, and I'd like to keep encouraging that. So yeah, I think that kind of thing is really awesome. How do you get the Bohemian Magpies to stay in place? Absinthe is absolutely a solution, because then they start tripping and they just stare at nothing and don't move. I don't know. I'm not good with birds. Did I tell you guys that there was a bird who came to my window the other day? Like a couple weeks ago now, and it was trying to get into the branch that I have by my window that's all covered in lights. I think it was a woodpecker. It was quite alarming. It was beautiful, but I was just like, hey, wait a second, what are you doing here? All right. How do I feel about this? I feel like we need to go back in here and darken this a little bit, because this is where those waterfalls are. So let's just add some gravitas to that space, shall we? I'm gonna have to re-ink some of my markers. These are getting a little dry. I love that I can re-ink these markers though. Environmentally, that's such an awesome thing. Yeah, that's better. Like an owl from Hogwarts. Yes, right? It was not carrying a letter. I wanted it to be carrying a letter so desperately. Oh, I would go to magical school in a heartbeat. Like, in a heartbeat. I think Dave even knows that I would abandon him for magical school. And I mean, I loved the guy, but I mean, magical school. That is important, and I would answer that call very quickly. Yeah, I kind of like that. Do. Let's darken this just a bit more. And then maybe what we need is just a little bit of more... You guys are the best. I really appreciate that you come and hang out with me. Maybe we need just a couple little flicks of black pen. A thin one, not a thick one. How about this one? just darken that a little bit. Ease that. Darken this maybe. Okay. Yeah, safety is not a priority at all, is it? Okay, that's good. I'm not gonna tinker with that anymore. I will send... Oh, wait, I forgot about this river. Oh, and that lake. Okay. It occurs to me that I sing my random little songs to you guys as I'm working. I'm sorry, that's probably very weird. Alright, I think that's all the water bodies now. Dude. Wow, that's quite the Tumblr name. No, I can't say that it rings a bell, and you'd think it would, because it's quite distinct. Alright, where are we at? I'm watching someone on Instagram that does a cartoon called Slackworm, and that's pretty fabulous. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. It's neat that they're using a format like Instagram to do a cartoon. Like, it's a really neat method for that. So I'm digging on that quite a bit. I just need to check my email for something. I need to see if Matthew wants me to label this map, because we are uncertain about that. And he does. Perfect. Let's do that next then. I love it when people get back to me quickly with emails. That makes life so much better. Where's my ruler? Right there. Pencil. Well now, where did that go? Okay, I guess we're gonna have to put this off because I don't know where my 2H pencil's gotten to. I am not working on this in HB. Nothing doing. Alright, you go over there. You come here. Do, do, do. Yeah, I was loving this, and I'm not loving it as much as I used to. The color will probably help, though. I think because this texture just looks so out of scale with everything else, I was trying something new, and I don't think it's terrible, I just don't think it's as effective. So, I think it'll still be alright when it comes out, I just don't think it'll be the strongest one I've done. That's sometimes the trick of like dealing with textures this far out though, right? Like realistically you wouldn't see a hell of a lot from this distance. I didn't finish it, but I got close. I'll give you an image, Miss Myrna. So this is where I'm at with it. So got the shading done, and I'm content with that. I need to put the name of the map in, and it's going to go down here in this bottom corner. But I am missing my 2H pencil at the moment. I think it's still in my travel kit. So I'm going to not do that right now, because the only other pencil I have on my desk is HB, and that's just going to be too dark for the moment. I do not want to have to try and cover up lines I cannot erase. The version between gray and gray depends on if you are American or British. I think with an E is American. I think with an A is British. They're both fine. In Canada, we use them kind of interchangeably because of our weird linguistic middle ground between those two things. Yeah, for sure. Changing the scale of the mountains and stuff. Yeah, we could just put both in. Why not, right? I just don't have the ability to adapt this map right now. That would take more redrawing than I want to deal with at the moment. So, next time. I think that I need to give myself permission to work on smaller maps. And not by, I don't mean like different size pieces of paper. I just mean like, instead of doing an entire portion of a continent, you know, here's just a region. Because that lets me play with scale a little bit more. What? No. That we can just put both in there? No, I know that all maps are representative, for sure. I think I might just be sensitive to it because there's one guy in our mapping group who like comes down really hard on people who have inaccurate scale and stuff like that. And like I want to get better, but I also want to avoid being criticized. Which I suppose is a terrible reason to do things, but I'm pretty sure that's very human. Hi, Max! I love that he recognizes my channel logo. That's super cool. I hope you're feeling better, little buddy. Mom says you got a cough going on, hey? Yeah. Dave has a cough too. It's no fun. I hope you feel better soon, though. One thing I do love about this, though, is like it leaves really cool looking rivers and stuff. I enjoy the rivers as negative space option. I think it's pretty trippy. Yeah, I suppose you're right about the art thing too. I think that that's part of why I love doing it is it's somewhere in the middle of representation and illustration. I think you're probably right on that, Brian. I think it's far more illustration than science. Like I lay absolutely no claim to being anyone with the science background to make this real. I'd like to get better at that so that it's more believable. But I think in some ways, like the fact that it's a highly illustrative map kind of buys me a bit of an excuse in that regard because people get distracted by the art and aren't necessarily looking for the science. Or at least that might be my wishful thinking. I will take it if that is what's going on. Well, I'm glad that it does that, Gary, because, like, that's kind of the goal. Brian. Gray? Hey, Paulo, how are you? What is new in your world? It's been a while, hey? Nice. I'm glad that you are wrapping up your day. That's exciting. These little hills are making me unhappy. Why you gotta be like that, hill? Maybe it's just this one. Do, do, do. Yeah, that's a little better. Maybe we just need a thicker pen. Thicker pen, where are you? You should totally make one, Paulo. You should. It's a lot of fun. I find it very meditative. Are you part of the Fantasy Maps and Worlds mapping group on Facebook, Paulo? Well, you have survived better than the rest of us then if you have succeeded in not being on Facebook. If you are interested, it's a super amazing mapping group. I have met amazing people there, and it's very encouraging. But if you want to avoid the evil that is Facebook, I completely understand and respect your desires. It is a really fun group. I like it a lot. They're good people. All right, what are we doing with geography? Geography. I'm really excited about that in some ways, Gary, because Raven has asked me to do a map from her campaign world. So I think that that is going to be really fun. That'll be one of the ones that I start on in the next little while. I'm looking forward to being able to send Matthew his map, though. There's been a lot of delays with this one, so not this one, but the one I was working on earlier, so it'll be nice to have that safely sent off. To be fair though, Gary, when you made that map for that campaign, I wasn't doing this yet. So we would have had a bit of an anachronism going on there. I don't know that I'm prepared to come up with time travel just to go back in time and do maps. Just saying. Yeah, you could have. It all kind of happened when it happened. I mean, I wasn't expecting to end up doing this at all. Definitely one of the most unexpected things of the last year, that's for sure. I think we're going to put some denser trees in here. Oh, pen width changes, you make everything so much better. And by everything, I mean this part of my life. Confidence issues, they're a thing, hey? For sure. I think that that's been an interesting part of learning all of this process and coming into it with having art skill already is I think a lot of people assume that I've been doing this for a lot longer than I have. I get a lot of, oh, but you're so good. And I'm like, yeah, I've still only been doing it for 6 months. Like, that's a thing. No, I'm not going to stop practicing. I will not. Cannot. It's not a thing. I'm teasing, of course. I don't know if that's going to translate well. You just need to cram more art into your day, that's all, Brian. I mean, in your infinite hours. Again, with the teasing. Well, that's acceptable if you must. We're just up over the hour mark anyway, so I may end up signing off here pretty quick. Paulo, I don't know if you know, but we started a Discord, which is just kind of a group hangout spot on the internet. If you are interested in joining us there, it's not, anything major special, but it's a nice way to hang out when I'm not doing live streams on Thursdays. So if you are interested in that, I will post a link in the video description after the video goes up. Otherwise, I'm usually here on Thursdays. I wasn't last week. I was helping a friend move. So my apologies for that. However, she's moved now, and that's great. So that felt good to be able to help with. Sweet. I missed it, Brian. What did I say? You look offended. Okay, cool. I will put the Discord link. Actually, I wonder if I can just put it in the chat right now. Bear with me for a second here, guys. Discord. One day I'm gonna be like so technologically literate, I'm not gonna know what to do with myself. It's gonna be amazing. How do I get a link? That's not the thing. This is the thing. Oh, I knew how to do this at one point. What is going on? This? Invite people? Is that what I want? Yes! Hey, awesome. I'm excited. Hey, how's it going? I'm glad that you can see it better. We aren't totally sure what solved that problem. We think it might have just been the fact that it's cold. Oh, infinite hours. Yeah, don't choke on your coffee. Yeah, I think the screen quality thing may have been that it was just, minus 50 here for a few days, and by that I mean like a couple weeks. So it's getting better now. So we're not nearly as cold, and maybe that's helping our infrastructure. So happiness is that. I just posted the link in the chat to the Discord where we are hanging out. So if people want to come and hang out, you are more than welcome. I'm going to be moving to the Discord after the live stream is done, so feel free to just come chat if you feel like it. But yeah, I think I'm going to work for a little bit longer here and then do the thing. I want to get this section done. So we'll work while we're doing that and then go from there. Gotta close the door. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. Enjoy your walk, Brian. I envy your walk. Take some pictures of your beautiful land for us to see on Instagram. I do enjoy your pictures. They're great. You're going to IKEA, that's fair. Awesome. Good to see you, Paulo. That is exciting. Meatballs and. Oh, the plant. I thought you had misspelled focus for a second and I was confused. Cheers, Brian. We will catch you later on the flip side. Don't eat ficus. Well, no, probably not. Myrna, are you given to eating houseplants? Inquiring minds want to know. You guys are amazing. Oh man, if we could have a potted meatball tree, that would be ultimate. I am a fan. Oh, now I want meatballs. Myrna. I may need to stop and have breakfast, you guys. This is a thing. Alright, little section of trees. Game on. Let's do this. I don't know, Paulo. I think that it's a different plant. The only reason why I say that with any degree of confidence is because figs don't typically last well where we are. It's just too damn cold here. If they did, I'd be a happier person because figs are one of my favorite things to eat. Oh, somebody's stuck out the front of my house. Oh my. That doesn't sound good. I'm just gonna check the window, you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna need to go outside and help this person. It's the contractors who are working next door. Which means I don't need to go out and help because they have an entire crew full of people. The plows came by and plowed again, so there's a higher windrow, and I think that they just can't get over it. Oh, for sure. If you aren't willing to help friends and neighbors and people you don't know deal with the snow in Canada, that's just bad karma. This is the one thing that we all have in common, no matter what else is going on. So, and I've been the recipient of other people's help so many times that it's just like, yeah, pay it forward for sure. Um, there is really nothing worse than being stuck on your own. It's not pleasant at all. I'm really enjoying the different pen weights in here. Usually I work primarily with really fine pens, but adding that thicker pen is just making me happy. So that's exciting. Yeah, we're getting close to where I was going to pause for today. Let's come down here some more. I think we need like a tower or something living right here. Well, there's a waterfall here. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Let's put a little tower or something up on this ledge. There we go. I know, because you're obsessed. It's a thing. We love you. You're allowed. Although, to be fair, like, you'd be putting enormous whiskers on stuff. That's really straight. Ooh, nope. Fixing. Fixing. Rivers and hills meander. They don't do that. There we go. That's a little bit better. Cat Ear Lake. Katir? Katir's kind of a fun word. I dig that. Alright, that was where I was going to get to on the stream today, so I am going to go and re-up my coffee, and then I will pop up onto the Discord. So, if anybody wants to come hang out with me there, you are more than welcome. And otherwise, I will see you next time, hopefully, next Thursday for the regular stream. So, take it easy, and hopefully I will see you soon. You'll be heading home? Alright, safe trip home, Paulo. I hope that the traffic is smooth and everything is good. And if you get a chance to pop in on us on the Discord, feel free. Alright, cheers guys. Bye.